Lesson 3. Exploring Problem Solving. In this lesson, students apply the problem-solving process to 3 different problems in order to better understand the value of each step. They will solve a word search, arrange seating for a birthday party, and plan a trip. The problems grow increasingly complex and poorly defined to highlight how the problem-solving process is particularly helpful when tackling these types of problems. The lesson concludes with students reflecting on their experiences with the problem-solving process. They will justify the inclusion of each step and will brainstorm questions or strategies that can help them better define open-ended problems, as this is often the most critical step. The purpose of this lesson is to provide students with more practice with the problem-solving process in a variety of contexts. It highlights the fact that the problem-solving process is particularly helpful when approaching poorly defined problems. The final brainstorm of the lesson provides students with some strategies and questions they can ask to better define for themselves, since this is often the most critical step. The problems seen in this lesson also help to drive a discussion in the following lesson about the types of problems that computers are well suited to solve. In the last lesson, we talked about many different types of real-life problems and learned the 4 steps of the problem-solving process. With such a wide variety of problems and strategies, it's important to be able to think critically how best to use the problem-solving process. Now, we're going to look at a wide variety of problems, talk about what makes them different, and reflect on how the problem-solving process helped us solve them. The first activity is a word search. Flip over the activity guide to begin the first challenge. You'll be looking for 8 words in a 20 by 20 grid of letters. Think about how making a plan might help you to do this. Once you finish, flip your activity guide to the last page. There's a table to record your experience with the problem. Record what parts of the solving this problem fall within each step of the problem-solving process. Now let's look at the birthday guest problem. Look at the overview. A big group of 15 guests is getting together at a restaurant for a birthday. The restaurant has 3 tables that can each seat only 5 people. Below, you can find some information about the people who are attending the party. Your objective is to find the best possible arrangement of guests at the party. Draw your solution in the space below. To help, you can cross out the letters of the names you've assigned in the row below. This problem is particularly challenging if you don't define the problem well. If you take it at face value, your job is to randomly guess and check where to put individual people until you find a solution. It is much easier if you define the problem as place groups of friends instead. Make groups of 2 or 3 you know need to be together, and then figure out which groups can't be at the same table. Discuss with your team what you know needs to be true at the end and whether different approaches might help. If you need to, draw pictures or use scratch papers as a place to brainstorm ideas. Once you're done, head to the last page of the activity guide and fill in the row there for the birthday guest in the table. In the Plan a Trip activity, you will need to work online to use Google Maps to plan a trip. Each member of the group will individually be developing a plan for a trip that follows criteria they'll develop as a team. Let's look at the overview. You and your friends will be going on a trip. You've got the entire school day to travel, and you need to get back to school by the end of the trip. But otherwise, how your trip goes, it's up to you. Plan the best trip that you can. Explore the tool. Head to www.google.com/maps and search for your school. Look at the different options for finding directions to other locations. Don't worry about making a plan yet, but make sure you understand what kind of information are available. Develop goals. Now, talk with your group for a few minutes. What are the most important things about your trip? Do you care what you see? How will you get there? How long will it take? What will it cost? Write down the goals you'll use to decide what makes a good plan. Take a moment and fill out the goals checklist. On the left side, write down what your goals are. And on the right side, write down how your plan will help you reach these goals. Now make a route. Every member of your group should separately start planning your trip. You should select what places you want to go and what activities you want to do along the way. For each goal your group choose, list how your trip helps to reach it in the right column. In the space below, record all the stops along your trip. Next, share the route and get feedback. Share the route you developed with your teammates and explain why you think it's the best possible route given the goals you choose. Afterwards, record their feedback and reactions to your route in the space below. Is there anything that needs to change? How could your route improve? Finally, improve and finalize. Using the feedback from your teammates, update your route. In the space below, write down the new trip that you and your group agreed upon. Include the stops on your trip and the things you'll see. Once you're done, head to the last page of the activity guide and fill in the row there for the plan a trip in the table. The last thing to do is to fill in the purpose for each step in the problem-solving process. Write one sentence explaining its purpose. Why is it included in the problem-solving process? And then define problems with questions. Before starting to solve problems, it's important that you have defined it well. What questions or strategies can you use to better define or understand a problem? Record them in the space below. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.